How's it going, everyone? K-Limit here, and today we are going to be talking about Madden 11 on the PlayStation 3. Now, I did play Madden 11 back in the day. I actually didn't own the game, but I used to go over to one of my friend's house, and he had Madden 11 on the Wii, actually. He didn't have an Xbox or a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 2 or anything like that. He had a Wii, so we would go over there and we would play Mario Kart, Mario Party, and eventually he picked up Madden 11. And I remember really enjoying the game, especially the soundtrack. This game is another one of the Madden games that had a fantastic soundtrack. Any game that has Ozzy Osbourne in it for the music, it's probably going to be a great soundtrack. So it has a couple songs from him. It has Let Me Hear You Scream, and it also has Crazy Train in it. So love both of those songs. And overall, this is, again, just another Madden game with a phenomenal soundtrack. Now, the actual game itself, this is not the best Madden game in the world. And it's definitely still better than the PlayStation 2 ones. It still plays better than those ones, but it has its issues. I think the biggest issues in this game come in the fact that penalties are just not called hardly ever in your favor. I guess that they did something in this game to make it where they hardly ever call penalties for pass interference on the computer. I've literally been playing this for hours upon hours, and I've played through multiple seasons of this point of Superstar mode, and I have not gotten one call for pass interference the entire time, even when it's obvious. And apparently they did this weird thing where they decided to not make it so it would be called just when, like a cornerback is like running into a wide receiver or something like that. Even though that would be called in real football, they decided to not make it get called in this. And instead, they went the route of being in favor of this new system where there had to be an actual animation going on. So I don't know why they did that, but it doesn't feel right. And there's a lot of pass interference calls that are missed because of that. And the problems don't stop there with the penalties. Half the time, whenever I'm playing in Superstar mode, I throw the ball, and I get hit like every single play after I throw the ball. And even after a few seconds after I throw the ball, I'm still getting hit, and there's no roughing the passer. This game is really, really bad about the penalties and just not calling them at all. Now, that being said, I kind of look past it, and I can deal with the flaws because this game has one of my favorite players in it. This game has Tim Tebow in it, and because it has Tim Tebow in it, I kind of put up with the issues that this game has, and I still play Superstar mode. In fact, this is the only Madden game where I don't create my own character for Superstar mode. Since Tim Tebow is a rookie, I just play as Tim Tebow through Superstar mode, and I think that it's pretty fun to do that. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks, and he's one of the guys that I used to watch all the time when I was growing up, so that's just something that I like to do in this game. And this game overall still has a fantastic roster, too. I mean, this era of football still had Tom Brady playing, Peyton Manning playing, Eli Manning, Brett Favre was still playing at this point, Aaron Rodgers, just a fantastic just roster of quarterbacks and just all around just fantastic defenders as well, Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher. And I think that this game still had just a fantastic roster. But in terms of Superstar mode, I do like playing as Tim Tebow in this and going through the Superstar mode that way. And Superstar mode in this game is still pretty decent. It doesn't really change anything a whole lot. Most of the stuff is still pretty much the same from Madden 09 and really Madden 07. Things didn't really change a whole lot in that period of time. You can still demand a trade from your agent and stuff, which is a good thing. I wish modern Madden games had that ability, but whatever. But I do like that it's in this game. And overall, Superstar mode is just fine for what it is, other than the actual gameplay issues. But that doesn't really have to do with anything with Superstar mode specifically. That is just the game in general, because every game mode you play, you will notice those issues, even franchise mode. And franchise mode is back in this game, and just like in the other Madden games, you can actually create a team, and you can put your created team in place of one of the actual teams for franchise mode, and you can play through the NFL season as your own created team, which is pretty cool. Now, I will say the created team in this game is pretty clunky. In fact, pretty much all of the menus in this game are insanely clunky, especially when you first turn it on. With all the default settings, I don't know what they were thinking, because the default settings in this game are awful. it has like this thing turned on right when from the get go called game flow, where it doesn't even let you select your own plays. I don't know what they were thinking doing that, but it is horrible. It is clunky. It is a mess, and you have to kind of go in and tune things and fix them and turn them back to how it should be, from like how it should be in the other Madden games, you know? For some reason they tried to go a different direction with it and it did not work. They should have not changed the default settings, but luckily you can get it back to feeling like regular Madden, but you do have to mess around with the settings at first when you first get into this game, so that's a little bit annoying. I think technically you can open up the full playbook while you have the game flow turned on. The annoying thing is, though, is that you're trying to skip scenes. Like, you're trying to skip all the cutscenes in between, you know, playing football. So when you're pressing the X button, X automatically triggers that game flow. So it will skip you trying to open up the playbook, and it throws off the flow of the game completely. For something called game flow, it actually makes everything worse. So I do not like that at all. Another thing I don't like in this game is the fact that they took out the rewind. The rewind was one of the best things in Madden 09, and they took it out in Madden 11. And the annoying thing about that is Madden 09 had that in the game because it helped with the balancing issues, you know? Every Madden game, pretty much ever, even current ones, have moments where your quarterback just does not throw to who you're aiming at. Instead, they just throw right to the defender sometimes. Sometimes they just, you know, will do something stupid. They'll fumble the ball when they are barely getting hit or something. There's just things that are out of your control that happen in Madden games, and the rewind feature allowed you to basically fix those issues. So whenever something that popped up that was out of your control, you could press the rewind button. However, they removed it in this game, so they actually removed something that helped the balancing. So I don't know why they did that either. Even the actual menu is clunky itself, the main menu, and create a team specifically. I was creating a team, and it would not let me see the helmet while I was making changes to it. I was making changes to the helmet. I was changing its colors, trying to put stripes on it and stuff, and it would not show me what the helmet looks like. It would just show me a player wearing the rest of the uniform, but not the helmet. And I could not figure out how to get the helmet on the character's head. And the weird thing is that the character's head looked like it had a shadow over it, like he was wearing the helmet, but then they just didn't put the helmet on his head. So I don't know what was going on with that, but I never figured it out, and it was really clunky and a mess. So this game has some janky issues, I will say that. And even its actual play style, the way that this game plays compared to something like Madden 09 and previous Madden games, they tried to go a different direction. They went from a more arcadey feel to a more realistic feel with the characters, and it takes some time to get used to. I'm not going to say it's necessarily bad, because I don't think it is necessarily a bad thing, but it takes time to get used to this movement, especially if you are going from something like Madden 09 to Madden 11. If you are making that change, you have to get used to the movement, because in this game, all of the players are a lot more sluggish. They move a lot more rigid, and part of that is because they were trying to make it more realistic, which is fine, but it does take just some time to get used to, so I figured I should probably put that out there. I don't think it's a good change or a bad change. I think it's just something they did, and it is what it is, basically, you know. Overall, I still like Madden 11. It's not the best Madden game in the world, in my opinion. I don't think it's the worst either. It has flaws, and I kind of put up with the flaws because I do like the roster. And that's pretty much the reason why I play this game. The reason I play this game is because of the roster and the fact that Tim Tebow is a rookie, so I can play as him in Superstar mode. And that's pretty much it. Again, there's Madden 09, honestly, is a way better Madden game than this. Madden 07 is actually a better Madden game than this, too. But it is what it is. This isn't a terrible game still. In fact, since it is an older Madden game, you can usually find it for $1 or $2 a piece. So if you find a Madden game for $1 or $2, I think it's worth it every single time, because you are going to get many hours of fun out of it, and that's worth it for just a couple of bucks, in my opinion. So I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Go check out Madden 11. Bye-bye.